Hello and welcome back to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10, and it's big episode 6 because it's the last Smackdown before Backlash, so a lot going on, including major segments such as the funeral for the Gingerbread Man. All happening on this week's show. And we've also got continuing feuds, including Gunter v Cody Rhodes, which should be interesting. But we start things off with shots of superstars arriving and walking in. Joe Testo gave us a quick rundown of the card. After a video to recap what happened on Raw with Roman Reigns, Jake Fatu made his way to the ring to hype their upcoming match at Backlash, giving a promo about how everyone always saw Reigns as a future when they were young, while he was seen as nothing. It didn't take long before the Usos came to the ring. Jimmy said he's part of his routine for Jacob, but the other part was worried that what happens if he loses. Jay said Fatu is like him and doesn't always think things through, which was really funny and self-aware. Fatu issued a warning for them not to interfere. He burned the whole family tree down. The segment may not be known more in the long run, but it was effective and really helps build Fatu's character. As we move on to our first match between Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James, Julia accompanied her partner and Tiffy took immediate control. But James got the upper hand, targeting her leg with an attack against the ring post, maintaining a position of offense throughout the break and returning to see her using a single leg crab. They both are great athletes, but they didn't get enough time on the show to show what they could do. The commercial break kind of took up too much time. If the match had gone 5 more minutes, it could have been great. Julia inadvertently cost James a chance by distracting the ref, which allowed Tiffy to finish the full then. Obviously, kind of teasing tension there, I guess. I'm going to get a 5 out of 10. As we moved on to the next match, which was Tonga versus Damian Priest. Priest was looking for retribution in this match after the attack on R-Truth last week. Priest didn't even wait to take off his jacket before going after Tonga the second he got to the ring. They took to the fight in the ringside area when Tana rammed Priest into the ring post to get the upper hand. Sakara watched replay as Tana slammed Priest on the announce desk. After the break, the Archer began building up ahead of steam. The powerhouse matches often feel slow, but they did a good job keeping the pace here. They were a little clunky in pace, they didn't feel like they had any major botches. They didn't have a ton of chemistry as opponents. Tama Tonga showed up to provide distraction, so Truth came out to help. Priest helped him take out Sakura and Tama, but it allowed Tama to take advantage and hit a huge chokeslam for the win. Kind of interference fest, I don't know, it gave Taylor a big win. I'll give it 5 out of 10. As we then moved on to Gunter, who was shown about to sign his contract for a world title shot backstage when Cody made his way to the ring. Gunter said this is supposed to be his time and didn't waste any time to do business before he handed it back to Otis. Cody called Gunter out, which led to Heyman coming out to say he's there to solve the problem. Rhodes cut him off and said he wants to fight right away. Heyman revealed that helping Gunter get a title shot was the favour he owned him. Heyman said it's not up to Rhodes to get Gunter to sign a contract for a title match necessarily. Within General tried to sneak attack, but Rhodes saw him coming, sent Gunter out of the ring and told him he isn't scared of him. After Gunter got the better of him in their last encounters, having Rhodes thwart the attack made sense and a decent segment. And I can't lie, I'm hyped for this match coming up in a few weeks. We then got Matt Cardona versus Ricky Saints. Cardona had a slight power advantage and used it to back Saints in the corner, but he absolutely won pie-faced him to show that he wasn't intimidated. Saints is looking to make a good impression on the main roster. Cardona looking to prove that he was right to bring back, so both guys brought the energy here. Cardona hit a rough rider, but couldn't get the pin. The Saints recovered to get his pin. This was the third match in a row that felt like it needed more time to live up to its potential, but I think it did get more time than the others. So yeah, overall I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. As we then moved on to Paige and Brie Bella, who came to the ring for a promo. They said in their reign as tag team champions, it's not the nostalgic tour, and they were the best they've ever been. Jane, Henley and Reed came out to remind the team that they took out the champs the last time they crossed paths. Nia Jackson and Ash Legend arrived to state their claim that a rematch for the titles. Fatal Influence watched the former champions take out Paige and Brie. Since the 6-woman tag match was up next, Rhea made her entrance first. She had a brief stare down of Legend and Nia. The segment was about as down the middle as it gets. It got some potential tag title matches, but yeah, in a way it didn't really feel satisfying, to be honest. As we then moved on to Fatal Influence versus Ripley, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Bliss and Henry started for their teams. The Goddess quickly showed the newcomer that bragging about one takedown was a bad idea by hitting a series of strikes for a 2. Reed was a lot nearer than the rest of the talents, but the other 5 have all had years of their skills in WWE, so most of them found their groove right away and showed some good chemistry. The match followed the usual pattern of any 6-person contest we see in WWE. Everyone got locked on in the ring on both offense and defense, and the heels controlled most of the pace, so the babyfaces made comebacks. Cargill ended up interfering by yanking Ripley off the apron when Bliss needed a tag, which led to Jane hitting her finisher for the win. Most of this was alright, but the ending fell apart a bit. Fatal Influence was happy to let Cargill continue her assault as Flair was attacked to help her partner beef up and Mitch and attacked her from behind. So yeah, all chaos. I think it's all going to feed into the same thing. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. We then got Royce Keys taking on Tama Tonga in the next match. Sokoa and Tower accompanied into him, but Keys was solo, and he took control immediately, starting asserting his dominance with a few short clotheslines for a near fall. Tower and Solo mostly just stood in the same spot at ringside. When he had a chance to interfere, Solo held Tama back and said Tama's latest figures throughout his own things. Moments later, Keys hit a spine buster for the win. While this match was short, it wasn't the only one on the show, and it felt like it didn't need time to accomplish what was set out. Keys looked dominant, and they set up a more potential match for them and the MFTs in the future, so I'm here at 6 out of 10. And then finally, throughout the show, people have been paying respects for the casket that contained the Gingerbread Man after Sami Zayn killed it last week. The final segment of the night was Trick Williams holding a funeral. There was a flower arrangements and a small choir to sing a show. On the show included Danhausen apparently trying to clone Brie to create a tag team partner for Backlash. This was somehow the dumbest thing we saw all week. However, we do have to make one thing clear. The superstars involved took it seriously and tried their best, putting in 100% effort, and that's all you can do with bad material. The kind of thing some people are going to find hilarious, and that's the thing about the opinions. Nobody's wrong. This can be stupid and brilliant to others. The crowd in the arena seemed to enjoy it, so it wasn't a total failure. Zayn's supposed to be the hero, and having him be the voice of reason is not an effective way to make it happen. At least he was funny with how he went about it. Zayn ended up taking a cheap shot off, saying he's going to disrespect and embarrass Trick Willie at Backlash. The Gingerbread Man stepped up and revealed himself to be Lil Yachty, attacking Zayn with Kendo Stick, and Williams sticking out with a trick shot to end the show. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I like City Wrestling, so in a way I did find this fun, but for the main event spot on Smackdown to go into pay-per-view, I mean, yeah, crazy stuff, isn't it? Overall, Smackdown gets a 5 from me. This week's Smackdown may not be the worst episode we've seen recently, but it was lacking in areas. The majority of the match we got felt rushed, and with breaks in the middle of each one. There was some that had more ad time in the ring. The funeral stuff had a couple of funny moments, but most of it was outright bad television. Williams and Zayn deserved better. Somehow the antics with Danhausen backstage with anything that stood out, which is even more shocking, because if anyone else had been given that material, it'd be awful. In many ways, this week's episode was the definition of mediocre, which is a bit of a shame with the PLE coming up, you have to say.
That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.